After studying this module, students, you shall be able to understand about the independently pooled cross-sectional and panel data set. You would also be able to know about balanced and unbalanced panel data. We would also discuss about pooled estimators. In the end, we would try to understand about two types of panel data model, namely fixed effect model and random effect model. So let me introduce the subject to you. The use of either cross-section data or time series data often arises in applications. For empirical research, data sets that are often used are the combination of both cross-section and time series data. Now the question that arises is, can we still use multiple regression models? The answer is yes. Multiple regression methods can still be used on such data sets. In fact, data with cross-sectional and time series dimensions can often be very useful for important policy related questions. Now these data sets are of two types. One, independently pooled cross-section. As the name suggests, this type of data set is obtained by sampling randomly from a large population at different points in time, usually but not necessarily different years. For example, in each year we can draw a random sample on hourly wages, education, etc. from working population in India. From a statistical point of view, these data sets have an important characteristics. They consist of independently sampled observations. It rules out correlation in error terms across different observations. An independently pooled cross-section is different from a randomly selected sample because sampling from the population at different points in time is likely to lead to observations that are not identically distributed. For example, distributions of wages and education have changed over time in most countries. Surveys based on individuals, families, and firms' data can be repeated at regular intervals, say for example each year. But the current population survey, which is also denoted as CPS, contains data that is randomly sampled each year. When a random sample is drawn at each time period, then pooling those samples lead to independent pooled cross-section. The significance of using this kind of data is to increase the size of the sample. By doing this, that is by using random sample from same population but at different points in time, we get more precise estimators and test statistics with more power. Generally, in order to reflect the fact that the population may have different distributions in different time periods, we allow the intercept to differ across time periods, usually years. That can easily be incorporated by including dummy variables for all but 1 year. I am sure you know that the number of dummy variables has to be equal to the total number of characteristics minus 1, where the earliest year in the sample is usually chosen as the base year. The second type of data is the panel data. The panel data refers to the data set taken both across individuals or known as cross sections and over time, that is panel data have both the dimensions, which means cross sectional as well as time series. In panel data, we observe the behavior of entities like states, companies, individuals, countries, etc. It helps us in allowing to control for variables that cannot be observed or measured. For example, cultural factors or heterogeneous business practices across companies. Now, this characteristic of panel data is known as individual heterogeneity. These are called as longitudinal data also, where we follow the same individual, families, firm, states, countries, etc. For example, in a particular year, data is collected on individuals' wages, hours, education, and maybe other factors by randomly selecting people. Then what we do is in subsequent years, these same people are re-interviewed. This gives us data on wages, hours, education, etc. for the same group in different years. Important point to note is that for econometric analysis of panel data, we cannot assume independent distribution of observations across time. For example, an unobserved factor, say for example ability, that affects someone's wages in 1990 will also affect his or her wage in 1991.
Sources of panel data. There are number of panel data sets that are used for making inferences. But one of the most frequently used panel data sets in US is known as PSID, that is Panel Study of Income Dynamics. This data set is collected by Institute of Social Research at the University of Michigan. Since 1968, researchers have collected information on more than 5,000 families. Data are collected by re-interviewing the family members, asking about their economic status, and information is also collected regarding their job changes, income changes, changes in marital status, and many other socio-economic and demographic characteristics. SIPP, US Department of Commerce, Bureau of Census, is almost similar to PSID. The main difference is that it covers a shorter time period, and respondents are interviewed about their economic status 4 times a year. Similarly, other countries are also collecting data of this kind. Balanced and unbalanced data. It is assumed that maximum of cross-sectional observations, denoted as N, and a maximum of time period observations, that is denoted by T, should be used for the analysis. If in a panel data, each cross-sectional unit contains same number of time series observations, then it is known as balanced panel. Whereas if panel members contain different number of observations, then we call it unbalanced panel. Advantages of panel data. Panel data has many advantages. First, panel data includes large number of data points that increase the degree of freedom and helps in reducing the collinearity among independent variables that further improve the efficiency of the estimation. But it should be noted that more data points don't necessarily lead to more information. It may sometimes lead to heterogeneity bias. The second advantage is that the panel data helps in resolving the magnitude of econometric problems that generally arises in case of empirical studies. For example, the problem of omitted variables that might be unobserved or mismeasured lead to wrong estimation because of its correlation with the independent variables. The third advantage is that it simplifies the computation and inference since panel data is of two dimensions, namely cross-section and time series, that helps in minimizing the complications associated with using either of the data. The fourth advantage is that panel data helps in studying the dynamics of changes because it includes repeated study of cross-section of observations. Notations for panel data. In time series analysis, we have used single subscripts, but in case of panel data, we use double subscripts, first for entities or cross-section and are generally denoted as I, and second for the time periods notated by or denoted by T. So I is entity or cross sections. N is equal to number of cross sections. So I may be equal to 1, 2, 3, so on up to N. Similarly, T is denoted and is equal to time periods, maybe in years, and capital T is the number of time periods. So small t is equal to 1, 2, so on up to capital T. Data, suppose we have one regressor. The data are xit, yit, where I moves on from 1 to 2 to small n and t varies from 1, 2 to capital N. Pooled estimator. Let us begin by considering the simplest method that proceeds by essentially ignoring the panel structure of data. Let the model be given by, in matrix notation, y is equal to x beta plus epsilon. Let's denote it as equation number 1. In this, epsilon is distributed IID with mean 0 and variance sigma square for all I and t. That means for a given individual, observations are serially uncorrelated and across individual and time. The errors are homoscedastic. These assumptions correspond to our classical linear regression model. Now, the estimation of the above model is straightforward. Note that by assuming each observation is IID, however, we have essentially ignored the panel structure of the data. Although this estimation method is the easiest, it is often not appropriate for reasons that we now pursue. Extension to simple model. Let the model is yit is equal to xit into beta plus epsilon it. Let's denote it as equation 2, where for the typical case the number of individuals is large and the time span is small. We go one step further and specify the following error structure for the disturbance term. Let's denote epsilon it equal to alpha I plus mu it. This is our equation 3. Here we assume that UIT is uncorrelated with XIT. The first term of the above decomposition of the disturbance term, that is alpha I, is called an individual effect. In this structure, our ignorance has two parts. The first part varies across individual or cross-section unit, but is constant across time, denoted by subscript I. This part may or may not be correlated with independent or explanatory variable. The second part, that is UIT, varies unsystematically or independently across time and individuals. It is the simplest way of capturing the notion that two observations from the same individual will be more like each other than observations from two different individuals. Empirical applications largely involves one of the following assumptions about individual effect. The first is fixed effect model. In this, alpha I is correlated with XIT. The second is random effect model. In this, alpha I is uncorrelated with XIT. Fixed effect model. In fixed effect model, the intercept in the regression model is allowed to differ among individuals in recognition of the fact that each individual or cross-sectional unit may have some special characteristics of its own. To take into account the differing intercepts, one can use dummy variables. The fixed effect model using dummy variables is known as the least squares dummy variable or LSDV model. Fixed effect model is appropriate in situations where the individual specific intercept may be correlated with one or more regressors. A disadvantage of least square dummy variable is that it consumes a lot of degrees of freedom when the number of cross-sectional units n is very large, in which case we will have to introduce n dummies but suppress the common intercept term. Using equation 2 and 3, the model becomes YIT is equal to XIT beta 1 plus alpha I plus UIT, where T is equal to 1, 2 up to capital T. Equation 4. Averaging this equation over time for each cross-section I, we get yi bar equal to beta 1 xi bar plus alpha I plus mu I bar, where yi bar is equal to T inverse sigma T from 1 to capital T into YIT and so on, and alpha I is fixed over time. Subtracting 5 from 4 for each T, we get YIT minus YI bar is equal to beta 1 into XIT minus X1 bar plus UIT minus UI bar. This equation can be further written as YIT double dot equal to beta 1 into X double dot IT plus U double dot IT, where T is equal to 1 to 2 to up to capital T. Let's denote this as equation 6. In this, Y double dot IT is equal to YIT minus YI bar and is the time demeaned data on Y. And similarly for X double dot IT and U double dot IT. This fixed effect transformation is also known as within transformation. Note that the unobserved effect that is alpha I, has disappeared, suggesting that the equation 6 should be estimated by pooled OLS. And the pooled estimator, that is based on time demeaned variable, is called fixed effect estimator or within estimator. Random effect model. An alternative to fixed effect model is random effect model. It is also known as error component model or ECM, which is also referred by Gujarati in his 4th edition of Basic Econometrics. In random effect model, it is assumed that the intercept of an individual unit is a random drawing from a much larger population with a constant mean value. The individual intercept is then expressed as a deviation from this constant mean value. Error component model has one advantage over fixed effect model, and it is that it is economical in degrees of freedom, as we do not have to estimate n cross-sectional intercepts. We need only to estimate the mean value of the intercept and its variance. Random effect model is appropriate in situations where the random intercept of each cross-sectional unit is uncorrelated with the regressors. The model is denoted now as YIT is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 x1 IT, so on up to beta k xk IT plus alpha I plus UIT, and this is our equation 7. Here explicitly it is assumed that the unobserved effect, that is alpha I, has zero mean, assuming no loss of generality. In fixed effect model, we have used within transformation and eliminated the unobserved effect, that is alpha I. But in random effect model, alpha I is uncorrelated with each explanatory variables in all time period taken into consideration. Then, using this transformation to eliminate alpha I results in inefficient estimators. The statement alpha I is uncorrelated with each explanatory variables in all time period can be expressed as covariance xjit, alpha I is equal to 0 for t equal to 1 to capital T and j equal to 1 to small k. Taking an example of traffic deaths of 48 states, so n is equal to 48 for 7 years starting from 1982 up to 1988, so capital T is equal to 7. In this way, it is a balanced panel, so the total number of observations are 7 into 48 is equal to 336. The variables are traffic fatality rate, that is traffic deaths in that state in that year per 10,000 state residents. The second variable is tax on a case of beer. Third, other, for example, legal driving age, drunk driving laws, etc. Above diagram show a scatter plot of traffic fatality rates and the real tax on a case of beer for 48 states in 1982. whereas this diagram is showing the data for 1988. Both the plots above show a positive relationship between the fatality rate and the real beer tax. The other factors that help in determining traffic fatality rates includes quality of roads, culture around drinking and driving, and density of cars on the road. Case 1. If suppose we do not include these variables in our model, then we will face omitted variable bias. Now let us assume first that there is a direct relation between high traffic density and traffic deaths. Second, there also exists direct relation between traffic density in states and alcohol taxes. Then the two conditions for omitted variable bias are satisfied. Specifically, high taxes could reflect high traffic density. So the ordinary least square coefficient would be biased positively, that is high taxes, more deaths. Panel data helps us in eliminating omitted variable bias when the omitted variables are constant over time within a given state. Case 2. Cultural attitude towards drinking and driving arguably are a determinant of traffic deaths, and second, potentially are correlated with the beer tax. So beer taxes could be picking up cultural differences. Then the two conditions for omitted variable bias are satisfied. Specifically, if high taxes reflect cultural attitude towards drinking, so the OLS coefficient would be biased. Second, panel data also helps us in eliminating omitted variable bias when the omitted variables are constant over time within a given state. Assuming a panel data model, we can write fatality rate IT is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 beer tax IT plus beta 2 ZI plus UIT. Zi is a factor that does not change over time, which is density, at least during the years on which we have data. Now suppose Zi is unobserved factor, so its omission would result in omitted variable bias if it is significant for the model. Using t equal to 2 years, we can eliminate this omitted variable bias if exists. The key idea: if there is any change in the dependent variable, that is fatality rate, within the time period taken into consideration, that is from 1982 to 1988, cannot be caused by Zi, because as per assumption, Zi does not change with time, expressed by subscript I. Consider fatality rates in 1982 and 88. Let's say fatality rate I 1988 is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 beer tax I 1988 plus beta 2 Zi plus UI 1988. Similarly, fatality rate I 1982 is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 beer tax I 1982 plus beta 2 Zi plus UI 1982. Suppose expected value of UIT given B at x it and zi is equal to 0. Now subtracting 1988 minus 1982, that is calculating the change, eliminates the effect of zi. So fatality rate I 1988 minus fatality rate I 1982 is equal to beta 1 into B at x I 1988 minus B at x I 1982 plus UI 1988 minus UI 1982. The new error term UI 1988 minus UI 1982 is uncorrelated with either B at xi 1988 or B at xi 1982. So Zi is unobserved. The difference equation can still be estimated by the method of OLS. The omitted variable Zi does not change with time, so it cannot cause any change in Y. Example: traffic deaths and beer taxes 1982 data. We get fertility rate equal to 2.01 plus 0.15 beer tax. Now n is equal to 48 and the t values are 0.15 and 0.13. From the 1988 data, we get fertility rate is equal to 1.86 plus 0.44 beer tax. Again, n is equal to 48, but the t values are 0.11 and 0.13. Difference equation with n equal to 48. We get FR 1988 minus FR 1982 equal to minus 0.072 minus 1.04 into B at x 1988 minus B at x 1982 with the appendix value over the parenthesis value 0.065 and 0.36. Above scatter plot is showing the change in traffic fatality rate and the change in real beer taxes between 1982 and 1988 for 14 states. Here we can see the negative relationship between changes in the fatality rate and changes in the beer tax.
Summary. Panel data consist of observations on the same cross-sectional units or individuals denoted as I over several time periods denoted as T. We have also learned that there are several advantages of using panel data model for making inferences. Third, despite of their advantages, they also pose various problems while making inferences, that is heterogeneity and autocorrelation. We have also learned that there are two types of panel data model, fixed effect model and random effect model. In fixed effect model, alpha I, that is unobserved effect, is correlated with explanatory variables xit. In the random effects estimator, it is useful when alpha I is uncorrelated with all the explanatory variables xit.